Our Guy Roofing High School Hoops Game of the Week continues as tonight we welcome you to the campus of the Gaud School here in Charleston as the Cyclones at home taking on the Panthers of Pinewood Prep. And welcome down to the court alongside ABC News 4 Sports Director Scott Eisberg. I'm Jeff McCarrigo. Thanks for tuning in tonight. A classic rivalry, huge rivalry matchup tonight. You picked another good one here tonight between Pinewood Prep and Gaud. The last time these two teams met, it was Gaud up by 30. Pinewood Prep came all the way back, almost won it. You never know what's going to happen when these two schools meet.
Yeah, both teams are really good. They know each other well. The coaches are two legends. Between the two of them in the Low Country, 70 years of coaching experience. So they know each other, the teams know each other, and there are some stars in this game. It should be a fun one and a close one. Gaud might have the little edge on paper, but you can never count Pinewood Prep out.
Speaking of stars, we've seen a lot of stars in the past out of both these squads. Let's talk about two we're going to see tonight. We'll start with the Panthers of Pinewood Prep.
Yeah, that's Cohen Gaskins. He is their key player, 24 points a game. He is second in the Low Country in scoring, 6'3". Several schools are looking at him at the Division I level. They go as he goes.
Meanwhile, for the Cyclones on the other side, 18-5, Mason Grant, one of the top scorers here in the Low Country.
Yeah, this kid is special. From Fort Dorchester High School, he made the transfer over to Gaud. Offensive threat. John Pearson loves him at all three levels, mid-range, at the rim, and long range. He is fun to watch, and John said watch out because this kid can dunk. You'll see him do that tonight in all likelihood.
Again, the Cyclones at 18-5, the Panthers at 14-11. And we'll have the opening tip here from Gaud School right after this. Hold on. Our high school hoops on MyTV Charleston, brought to you by Guy Roofing, your trusted roofing contractor for 50 years, the Low Country's most trusted roofing company for all your residential and commercial roofing needs. If you need a roof, we've got you covered. And thanks for tuning in tonight. Again, as we come to you from the Gaud School here in Charleston, and we are underway with a quick bucket by the Cyclones.
That's one of the Kirkstein twins. That's Kai. Amazingly, John Pearson says they're twins, they look alike, and they play alike. They are exactly the same on the court, and that's a good thing for Gaud because they are some gritty, tough players.
There's Tobias Lafayette on the other side for Gaud. Cyclones again 18-5. Panthers 14-11. Don't let that 14-11 record fool you, though. The Panthers really some terrific players. Very tough schedule, a lot of close games. Nice pass into the lane. Shot no good by Grant. Rebound down to the Panthers.
And if there's one thing about Pinewood Prep, they are battle-tested every year. Pat Edson just puts them in every tournament he can find, every round ball classic he can find to play against some really tough teams, which helps them down the stretch.
Long three, top of the key miss. Long rebound out to Porter-Gaud. Good crowd, obviously home crowd, student section for Porter-Gaud, but Pinewood Prep has traveled some people down from Somerville.
JP just talked and raved about the Kurtzstein twins this week. He said, man, I wish I had 5 of them. I wish they were a little taller, but they are just fun to watch. They're gritty, tough, really good basketball players.
Lafayette to long three. It's our first Will Lou Gray three-pointer of the night.
Yeah, he's having a good time. Big smile, throwing up 3 fingers to the Pinewood student section there. John a little bit early. Lafayette, great athlete, very good football player as well.
Here's Gaskins, again, one of the top scorers here in the area. Nice pass, though, and an unselfish look over to Shabazz with another Will Lou Gray three. Starting lineups here for both squads as you look at Pinewood Prep, Shabazz, Briscoe, Lenore, Gaskins, and Salisbury. The 5 on the floor.
Salisbury is hard to miss at 6'10".
For Porter-Gaud, Lafayette, both the Kirsteins, Grant and Matt Kelly.
You might know the name Matt Kelly if you're a football fan. He is their starting quarterback, and he's done a really nice job in the Porter-Gaud system in all sports. He's just kind of an athlete, you know, not a specialized athlete, just an athlete.
There's Kelly in the corner, gives it up to Lafayette. And that one from the top, in and out. Offensive rebound down for the Cyclones as we look at our Cruise Chevrolet keys to the game tonight.
If you're Porter-Gaud, you want to get the lead, but you got to keep the lead. Obviously, as you talked about in the open, Porter-Gaud gave up a large lead in the 4th quarter to Pinewood Prep the first time these two played. If you're Pinewood Prep, you got to contain Mason Grant. He's probably the best player in skis of ball right now in this area. You got to contain him if you're going to contain Porter-Gaud.
Here's Grant, three-pointer just behind the line and knocks it in. Mason Grant, the junior, averaging 21 points per game.
John Pearson said with Grant, he was a little worried. How would he fit in with a group of guys who have been together for so long? When he transferred over from Fort Dorchester, he said he fits in perfectly. He could not have just fit in like a piece in the puzzle, and he's been outstanding for Porter-Gaud so far. Just a fun player to watch.
Foul on the play. Gaskins was fouled, so he'll head to the free throw line. Again, really one of the top 2 or 3 scorers in the Low Country right now, averaging almost 24 points per game.
A lot of the local schools are looking at him. Citadel and Charleston Southern have reached out to Gaskins. He's the kind of player that, you know, if he stays local, that, you know, that they like to have local players on those teams, and he's one of those guys. We saw one a couple weeks ago over at James Island that they were going after as well. And those are the guys. They love to get a couple local kids on the roster, bring a couple people into the building.
Free throw is good. Makes it a 9-4 lead here for Porter-Gaud. How about the student section for the Cyclones tonight, just to our left?
Yeah.
All on their feet.
I think it's Hawaiian night. They got the Hawaiian lays
like
going on. Yeah, apparently so. Doesn't feel like Hawaii outside, though.
Another three-pointer on the way to short. Tie in there with the rebound. Chase Cannon and the putback.
If Chase Cannon gets going, that's the X factor for Porter-Gaud. He's going to play college basketball next year. He's signed with Hampton-Sydney up in Virginia. He's an outstanding player. John Pearson said he's just kind of not had the year that he expected this year, and he's hoping to get on track. He just kind of gets in his head a little bit, but he said, what a great kid, and he's got a ton of potential.
We're getting to the age now where we are old enough to remember some of these guys when they were kids. I remember Chase when he was like in the 6th grade. He was already about 6'6". Good start here from Porter-Gaud. It's the Cyclones on top by 7. It's our Raise the Roof fan cam brought to you by Guy Roofing. Again, our Guy Roofing High School Hoops game of the week as we come to you from Porter-Gaud, Pinewood Prep, down here in Charleston tonight. Good start here for the Cyclones. Hot shooting from beyond 3 and a 7-point lead. Again, if you're just tuning in, the Cyclones at 18-5 this season. And for the Panthers, 14-11. Porter-Gaud here in their home whites. Pinewood Prep in their road navy uniforms. Good offensive rebound. Putback is no good, but a foul. As Mason Grant will head to the free throw line.
These are two of the most respected coaches in the state, not only in the private school ranks, but in the public school ranks as well. I mean, these guys are just, both of them are legends. I mean, they really are legends in their own right with the amount of state titles they've won. Pat Idson over at Pinewood Prep, 858 career wins, 11 state titles overall. John Pearson, 6 titles with Porter-Gaud, 3 as an assistant, 3 as a head coach. I mean, you don't get bigger than that with 2 head coaches in this game.
Another one good by Mason Grant. Yeah, Pat Idson, winningest active coach in South Carolina. What, 25 estimated or more Division I players?
Yeah, he's got a ton. One of them being his son Chuck, who we'll talk to here in a couple minutes. But yeah, Pat Idson is just, you know, it's a bit of a quiet, I call him the silent assassin. He's a quiet guy. They're up kind of in rural Somerville up there. You don't see him often, but then you go, oh my gosh, he's got 858 wins. He says the goal is 1,000. At 1,000, he might walk away and say, you know what? I pulled off 1,000. 41 years coaching, no signs of slowing down.
10-point lead here for the Cyclones. Again, this was all Porter-Gaud the first time these two teams met, and then Pinewood Prep put up 30 points in the fourth quarter alone. Grant on the drive. Boy, he is hot here to start this one.
Yeah, he's going to be the next one here at Porter-Gaud. That's the thing. You always have the one. It started with Chris Middleton, who's now an NBA All-Star for the second year. Ton of money he's making, averaging over 20 a game for a great Milwaukee team. And then you had Josiah James and Aaron Neesmith. Both of them are, certainly future NBA players. It's always the next one at Porter-Gaud. Who's it going to be? And the thing that John Pearson so proud of, how many of these guys are just homegrown guys that have come up through the system.
Gaskins to the free throw line, a couple of shots. He was fouled by Mason Grant. Matt Kelly coming back in for Porter-Gaud, and Bryce Lenore coming back in for the Panthers. There's a good look at Gaskins, junior. 6'3", 6'4", good size.
At 24 points a game, they rely on him heavily. And he's a physical player. He can kind of mix it up. He's a big, strong kid, and that's what Pat Idson likes about him. He's not just a shooter. He'll get inside and get dirty.
Mason Kelly from about 17 feet away, no good. Tipped out of bounds, and it will go to Pinewood Prep.
And if you see John Pearson tonight, the Porter Gaud head coach, you see him wearing a T-shirt. They are honoring Randy Clark, the legendary coach here at Porter Gaud, passed away in 2013. He was John Pearson's mentor. One night each year they honor Randy Clark, and that's his face on John Pearson's chest.
Shabazz with the drive and draws the foul. Well, you know, I was going to be interested to see how the Panthers came out in this one. They actually have not played in a week.
Yep.
Last game was last Friday. They lost, which snapped a 3-game winning streak. They were on a pretty good roll, but now a week off for Pinewood Prep.
You have 2 ways that you can come out of that. It's either rejuvenated and fresh or a little rusty.
Yeah. First free throw good to make it 16-7. Lead back to single digits. Another one for Tariq Shabazz, makes them both. Shabazz is going to be a really good player, just a sophomore. Kelly nowhere to go.
17 a game for Shabazz as a sophomore. He's not a big guy, but he can shoot.
Hook shot with the left hand, no good. Tip controlled by Pinewood Prep.
You see Pinewood's Lance Salisbury, you just grabbed that rebound. He is 6'10", he's a big guy, but he is skinny.
Three-pointer knocked in by Gaskins. A Will Lou Gray three-pointer. Will Lou Gray, the premier school of its kind in South Carolina, and helping willing students build a better future for nearly 100 years. Baseline drive too short. And a big opportunity here for Pinewood Prep with under a minute left here in the first quarter. Gaskins, long three, hits it. And just like that, the Panthers back to within 2.
He's got the range, and he's showing it. It's a pretty stroke he's got, and when he gets going, you know, Pinewood just has to kind of ride him out, ride the storm when he gets hot.
Good kick into the corner. Shot is short. Offensive rebound by the Cyclones.
Always a Kurtzstein there. They're always in the right place at the right time. Not afraid to mix it up down low, grab some rebounds. They kind of do everything. As much as I was trying to talk about other guys I didn't know about, John Pearson just kept going back to the Kurtzstein twins on our phone call this week.
5 seconds left. Kurtzstein has to give it up. Shot at the buzzer is no good. And that will bring the first quarter to an end. What a run here by Pinewood Prep, down 16-6, now back to within 2.
We are talking high school hoops and roofing with Guy Roofing's Max Spot. Max, you guys involved this year for the first time. It's our first time putting it on. All is going well so far. Everyone enjoying it. Why are you doing this sponsorship, and what was it about high school hoops that made you want to get involved?
Well, Scott, you know, there's nothing like the Friday night. There's the crowd. There's the excitement of a low country basketball game. And, you know, we love working with the Charleston area and the surrounding areas as well. And it's important for us to give back. You know, the kids, you know, they love being on TV, playing basketball and things. And to give them that kind of exposure, it's important for them to be able to set them up for the rest of their life.
Nice thing for you. You guys are local here in Charleston as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah, our roots have grown so deep that we spread in the Charleston area, and we just absolutely love it.
Great having you on board this year. That is Guy Roofing's Max Spot. We are talking roofing, Guy Roofing, and high school hoops. More basketball after this.
Back at the Porter Gaud School here in Charleston. What a start to the first quarter. The Cyclones jumped out to a big lead early, but the Panthers, behind hot shooting of Cohen Gaskins, their junior guard, their team's leading scorer, right back in this one now, down by 2. And Pinewood with the basketball here, but I think might have had a little issue with the clock they're going to look at here just as soon as we got this second quarter started. Ken, thanks for tuning in tonight. High School Hoops Game of the Week brought to you by Guy Roofing as we welcome a special guest down here to the court with us. Chuck Idson, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here, Chuck. Of course, the Pinewood Prep grade, a South Carolina Gamecocks grade, and oh, by the way, the son of the man that has 858 wins. You ever look at that number and go, Dad, how the heck did you pull that off?
It is amazing because just the longevity of it. I mean, it's amazing that he still goes to work every day and still wants to do it and has the same enthusiasm. It's awesome.
What is it about? I mean, he's so laid back and quiet. What is it about him that he's kind of evolved with the times and continues to do it each and every year?
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I tell him all the time, I don't think I can coach. Like, I just don't think I've evolved where I can coach nowadays. I'd be a little too hard on the kids. He's amazing. He still gets it. And the kids still love him, so that's what's important.
For you to get out, he says you mix it up with the kids pretty well during the summer. How much do you still have it? Do you still hoop at all, or do you spend most of your time on the golf course these days?
I definitely prefer the golf course more now, but, you know, I love getting out there with them. You know, they keep you young, and they also remind you that you're old.
Hey, how much do they pick your brain about your playing days and ask you for your advice?
A lot more than you'd think. You think at that age they figure they got the world figured out.
Exactly,
But no, they're kids. I mean, you'd be surprised. They really want to know anything you can help them with.
I mean, do they ask you about basketball career path and what to do and where they should go, and I mean tips on how to play professionally?
Less about the professional aspect of it, more about what I can do to get better every day. You know, how to approach being the best player that they can be, which is amazing for, you know, kids that age.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm sure a lot of them want to be the next Chris Middleton in the NBA. But do you ever explain to him, I mean, there is money to be made in Europe, and there is some great crowds and great excitement around European basketball, and how would you kind of describe your career? Obviously, a very successful 12 years over in Europe. How do you kind of look back on those memories?
You know, a lot of it, I mean, you're one of the rare people that really know about it. So, you know, I live a life where I like to keep a lot of that quiet. I like a quiet life. So I'm not really, you know, I don't really talk much about it.
Thanks a lot, Scott. He's just trying to enjoy his life.
I was stalking him when he was in Lithuania, getting him on the phone, watching the internet with Pat. I knew all about it.
But it's definitely, there's a whole world out there to play basketball. It's not just in the NBA.
Those Gamecock times, how enjoyable were they for you?
You know, as you're going through them, you're just seeing some tough times, and you know, at that time, we weren't winning as much as I'd like. But looking back, it's some of the best times of my life by far.
Chuck, before we let you go, got to ask you about this game. Last time these two teams met, Pinewood Prep scored 30 in the fourth quarter. We saw Porter-Gaud jump out to a big lead early in this one. Now a tie game at 18. This is a great rivalry.
Yeah, and it's, you know, there's a lot of emotion involved with this game. So, you know, you love to see the kids play a good game. That's all you want. You want to see them compete and play hard, both teams. And, you know, both coaches, such good guys. It's, you know, this is what high school basketball really is all about.
It's tough to keep those emotions in check sometimes in games like this.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough for a 30-year-old man, much less a 16, 17-year-old kid.
Right.
So it's definitely, I mean, just wish the best for him.
Awesome. Chuck, great seeing you.
Always
Thanks for
a
jumping
pleasure.
on with us.
Yeah.
And enjoy hanging out on the golf course.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll try and let Scott give you your piece now.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Y'all take it easy.
Thanks.
Chuck Idson, thanks to him for stopping by. And, man, what a game we've got here. Back and forth. If you're just tuning in, Porter-Gaud jumped out to a 16-6 lead, and now we've just got a 2-point game. Big hoop underneath as Mason Grant having a big game here for Porter-Gaud.
Chuck pretty humble about his accomplishments.
Yeah.
He was a heck of a player. He was a really good player. He was he played in the Euro Cup, in the Euro League. Big teams, Maccabi, Tel Aviv, and FC Barcelona. I mean, he played for the biggest teams in Europe. And we're talking big-time stuff. I remember Pat telling me when he would go over to Spain, it was like, Chuck was like the Michael Jordan of Barcelona. He couldn't walk around the streets, paparazzi following him. It was crazy. And now he's, kind of living out in Somerville and playing a lot of golf.
Floater won't go. Tipped. Rebound down to the Panthers. Now steal, though, by Lafayette. All the way to the other end. Out of bounds. It's going to go to the Panthers. Well, you know, when you go play overseas and stay for 12 years,
Yeah.
I mean, just that alone is a good testament to the type of player he was.
Yeah, and a big thing for him, the thing that really helped him is that he was best friends in college with a guy named Marius Petrovicius. Their wives, I think, played volleyball together at South Carolina. But having Marius, who is a native, of Europe, along the ride with him, they played together on several of the same teams. Said it was huge having kind of that bridge, the language barrier and everything like that was bridged, having Marius there as his buddy, but also his teammate, and kind of bridged America to the countries he played in Europe.
Turnover in the corner by Porter-Gaud. And the Panthers get it back, down 3, coming up on 5 minutes left to play here in the first half. Shabazz with a big shot a couple of minutes ago, which briefly gave Pinewood Prep the lead. Chance to tie it here, in and out. Offensive rebound blocked underneath by Grant. Another block by Grant. Well, I think you're right, Scott. He could be the next one.
Yeah, he's got the athleticism. And he kind of does everything. Look, he just jumps out of the building.
Had his pocket picked by Lenore, but he gets it back. Second effort won't go, but Chase Cannon draws a foul.
Cannon's the kind of the guy that if he gets it going, Porter-Gaud can go from really good to almost unstoppable. He's kind of, obviously colleges see what he can do. He had the offer, and he's a very smart kid. Hampton-Sydney, an outstanding school academically. So many of these guys are great academic students, great academic schools we're talking here. But, man, if he starts clicking, that could be scary for teams that are playing Porter-Gaud.
Terrific size, about 6'8", 6'9". Second one spins out. Still a 3-point game. 4.5 minutes to play. Oh, and a turnover in the corner, just off the hands of Logan Stern.
And if there's one thing that he's got going for him, John Pearson, he specializes in coaching big men. I mean, he's a big guy. Yeah. JP works so well with big men. He brought along Jake Lanford so well the last couple of years. He was in the NCAA tournament last year at Yale. So you have a resource in John Pearson as a big man.
Groves driving baseline, nowhere to go. Gives it up to Grant. Now back to Groves in the corner. Too short. Another opportunity for Pinewood Prep. Still a 3-point game. Here's Gaskins having a big first half. Drives, trying to wrap around pass, stolen away. Jumper in the corner, too strong. Long rebound. Here's Gaskins again. Again, Gaskins averaging 24 points per game. He's got it. And the runner is good. Count the basket and a foul. What a play.
You can tell the emotions just kind of driving these guys right now. Every time they make a big shot, they're showing the emotion. They know there's no love loss here.
And that'll bring us to a media timeout. 3:32 left to play in the half. A 1-point lead for Porter-Gaud. Once again, our Raise the Roof fan cam brought to you by Guy Roofing, our high school hoops game of the week here on MyTV Charleston, brought to you by Guy Roofing, your trusted roofing contractor for 50 years, and the students have come out for this one tonight. Rivalry matchup here at the Skeeza level between Pinewood Prep and the Cyclones of Porter-Gaud. Gaskins for the tie, and he gets it. This was a 16-6 lead for the Cyclones, and now the Panthers are tied at 21. Nice no-look pass underneath to Grant. Had it stolen away, but a foul against the Panthers. Two blue jerseys there. I think it's going to go against Logan Stern. And it is going to go against Stern, his second. Actually, no, they're going to say, I thought it was a foul on Pinewood Prep.
I thought it was a foul on Pinewood, but they called something on Porter there. It must have been
on Grant,
yeah,
I
it
guess.
must have been on Grant down low, just kind of scrapping a little bit down low.
And they announced a second foul. I thought it was the second foul on Stern, but they're going to say second foul on Mason Grant. So that could be an issue for Porter-Gaud later in this game.
Logan Stern is a bench guy, just a spark player, but boy, did he spark Pinewood on that comeback up in Somerville. 17 points in that game. Pat Idson said he didn't know where it came from, but he just exploded in that game, and it's kind of carried him. He's had a whole lot of confidence since then, and yeah, that was a foul on Grant as he comes out of the game right now for Porter-Gaud. So if you're Pinewood Prep, you got Grant off the floor right now. You want to take advantage of that.
Yep, 2 fouls, so he'll have a seat. Tie game at 21. Kirstein now resets the offense, slides it over to Lafayette. Kirstein, a three-pointer, no good. Offensive rebound, though, kept alive by Jaquez Dash Drayton, who we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. He's into the game for the first time. Just a freshman for the Cyclones.
He is going to be a star. He is big and long. 6'5" as a freshman, has not grown into his body yet. His wingspan, look how long his arms are.
Yeah.
JP said that is tremendous. I mean, his wingspan is well beyond his height right now. And once it all kind of comes together and he gets stronger, he is special. He is going to be a special player. He just got to grow into that body and build up the strength and the stamina. He can't go for long periods right now, but once he gets that going and puts it all together, he said he is going to be an outstanding player.
Shabazz got a chance to give Pinewood Prep the lead, and he does by 1. Foul was on Jet Kirstein just a moment ago. And now a chance at what would be the largest lead of the night for Pinewood Prep, and it is a 2-point advantage with 2 minutes left to play here in the second quarter.
And you can see where Matt Kelly is standing right there. He's standing right on the part of the court that says Randy Clark Court. So they are certainly, they've always honored Randy Clark here, but if you look on the floor, they're playing on Randy Clark Court. He's the guy who kind of laid the foundation here at Porter-Gaud.
Turnover by the Cyclones. Shabazz guarded by Kelly. Lenore drives, nowhere to go. Gaskins steps back, too short on the three-point attempt. Here's Porter-Gaud quickly, backfield away. And Lafayette didn't like it, holds up. Nice pass into the corner. Three-pointer is good. Big shot by Kirstein. And Porter-Gaud now with a 1-point lead.
I appreciate Kai kind of growing out the beard a little bit so we can identify him against his brother. It makes it a little bit easier. But it's funny, I kind of go player by player by player through the roster and just kind of get little tidbits about him from the head coach. And we did Kai first, and then I said to John Pearson, "What about Jet?" And he said, "Literally, just copy and paste what you wrote. Just take the whole thing, copy, paste it, and we can skip over Jet." They're exactly the same player.
Yeah, I saw that in your scouting report. Physical, fast, smart, undersized, but incredible competitor. Just times two.
Just times two. Yeah, it's fun to have those two guys.
Copy, paste.
I said, John, I'm sure you guys crack down on plagiarism here at Porter Gaud. It's probably frowned upon, but I'd be happy to copy and paste it.
1 point game, 20 seconds left, and the shot good from the corner. A Will Lugray 3 by Lafayette.
Lafayette kind of causes a matchup problem for other teams because he's fast. He's just feisty, and other teams can't stand guarding him.
Shabazz has it blocked out of bounds, last touch by Chase Cannon for Porter Gaud, so Pinewood Prep will get it. Baseline with 1.7 left here in the half. Got a shot off, Shabazz, and it is no good. That tip in will not count, so halftime is here. And Porter Gaud at home with a 2-point lead, 27-25. Halftime show comes your way next. And we welcome you inside the MUSC Youth Collaborative Halftime Report. The Cyclones of Porter Gaud with a 2-point lead, 27-25. MUSC Youth Collaborative leading the way in youth substance use services. For more information, text youth to 44332. That's youth to 44332. All right, earlier this week, Scott Eisberg got a chance to catch up with our sponsor, Dr. Gray from MUSC Youth Collaborative.
Good evening, guys. Pleasure to bring you our halftime report tonight. The MUSC Youth Collaborative. It is right on Renee's shirt right there. Dr. Kevin Gray joining us as well right now. So what is the MUSC Youth Collaborative?
Well, thank you for asking. We're really excited to be here. So the Youth Collaborative is really a group of people at MUSC who have come together that are really dedicated to helping young people grow up as healthy and well as possible. So included within that is engaging with the community around healthy behaviors, healthy development, and then really addressing things like substance use. So a real hindrance to healthy development is getting involved in substance use, and that can lead to a lot of bad pathways. So we have clinical programs for young people who have trouble with substance use. We have research opportunities for those who use cannabis or use alcohol and may want to change or may be interested in getting involved in science. We also partner with schools and provide education to schools and the community around substance use and around adolescent health and wellness. And so we try to do this also by partnering with young people and engaging them in the scientific process. So if young people really want to have a future career in addressing substance use and development, we kind of want to be one site fits a lot of different things, and our focus is really on helping young people grow up and to be healthy and well and productive.
I've learned tonight, Renee Roundtree, a Somerville grad, a
Yes.
Winthrop grad, and now with the MUSC Youth Collaborative. How can people contact you guys?
If parents or community members want to contact us, they can call us at 843-792-9257, or they can email youth to youth@musc.edu, or simply text 44332 to our text line.
Easy enough.
Yes.
Thanks so much, guys. A wonderful program, and I will send it back to you guys courtside.
All right, again at the half, it's Porter-Gaud with a 2-point lead. Tonight's trophy and plaque will be presented by RKO Total Graphics in downtown Charleston. Well, each week, David Ayler Law Offices and Writers Law Group proud to highlight a scholar athlete from each participating school. The student selected will have an opportunity to win a $2,500 scholarship at the end of the season. Over the past 3 years, David Ayler Law Offices has given over $17,000 in scholarship money to local high school students from around the Low Country. Tonight's scholar athletes are Emma Robertson from Pinewood Prep, all-region volleyball selection, all-region basketball selection as well. Ski's a North-South All-Star selection for volleyball. She's in student government. She's the president, actually, head of Honor Council, captain of Quiz Bowl team, Spanish Honor Society, and a student ambassador. On the other side, for Porter-Gaud, Wallace Ann Watley, basketball player, varsity captain of the basketball team, student body president at Porter-Gaud. Also senior leadership council member, Young Life member, and also involved heavily in community service. So congratulations again to Wallace Ann Watley and Emma Robertson, our scholar athletes of the week. Again, it's Porter-Gaud, a 2-point lead here at the half, 27-25. Second half action comes your way after this. Welcome back inside the MUSC Youth Collaborative halftime report. Porter-Gaud with a 2-point lead, 27-25. All right, once again, Scott got a chance earlier this week to catch up with one of our sponsors, proud sponsor here of our game of the week, David Ayler with David Ayler Law Offices and Writers Law Group.
Joined now by David Ayler of the Ayler Law Offices in the hallway of Berkeley High School. We just gave out a football academic scholarship for $5,000. Now we're talking $2,500 for basketball. It's got to feel good when you hand over that check.
Well, yeah, it absolutely does, because not only did the person that did get it deserve it, so many others potentially could have as well, because of everything that they've done throughout their high school career, from academics to athletics to really just a community activity as a whole.
That's the cool thing about this. It's the exact same thing for basketball and football. We want well-rounded kids. The guy we just gave it to for football, Beta Club, foster parent. He is a 4.5 GPA, going to play football at the next level. It's got to be nice when you see all of those videos come in, and the youth of America, if you will.
Yes, but it's also hard because all of them are such great candidates because of the families and the background they come from and all that they do at such a young age. There's so many people that never achieve some of the things they do for their entire life, much less by the time they're 17 or 18 years old.
That's David Ayler from the Ayler Law Office. He will present a scholarship for $2,500 at the end of this basketball season.
And again, your halftime score, Porter-Gaud a 2-point lead. What a first half. Second half action comes your way next.
I heard him and then I didn't hear him. I don't hear. 15 seconds.
And just moments away here from the second half at Porter Gaud. We're pleased to be joined now by the head coach of the Cyclones, John Pearson. And Coach, thanks for your time. What a first half. We knew this one was going to be a tough one back and forth. What did you like that your team did back in the first half?
Oh, I thought we played pretty good defense. We had a little lapse there, and we left some good shooters open, and they made a comeback. But overall, I'm very happy. We're running our offense, missing a couple shots, but I think we'll be able to knock some down.
JP, seeing the Mason Grant, Cohen Gaskins matchup is fun for us. How stressful is it for you when you see Gaskins knock down those shots, and how stressful was it when you had to take Grant out of the game there?
Let me put it to you this way. I love Mason and Cohen, except when we're playing. I like Mason a little bit better.
All right, Coach, what are your keys here for the second half?
We're just going to have to stay connected on their shooters and make sure we keep them out of the lane. They did a good job of creating some offense, so we're going to have to really step up our defense.
All right, JP, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, John Pearson, head coach for Porter Gaud. What a first half. Again, the Cyclones jumped out to a 10-point lead early, but Pinewood Prep got right back into this one. And as you see, just a 2-point game as the Cyclones will have it here to start the second half.
It's hard to kind of gauge these teams by records coming in just because they play such tough competition all year long. They need to, you kind of find themselves once they get to Skiza play, they need to kind of find themselves and what kind of team they are. So we're seeing that they're very, very closely matched here, and you saw that the first time around, and you're seeing it again tonight.
Kirstein goes into the lane. And a big-time move again underneath by Mason Grant. So he picks up right where he left off in that first half. And now a 4-point lead here for Porter Gaud. Look at this move underneath. Just the strength underneath the basket. And a chance at a 3-point play, and he gets it as we begin the second half. Please be joined by the head of school here at Porter Gaud. DeBose Eggleston has joined us. And thanks for sitting in here at the booth with us. What a terrific first half. You guys jumped out to a 10-point lead. You and I talked before the game. We knew this one wasn't going to be easy, and sure enough, Pinewood Prep came roaring back in this one.
They've got a legacy of strong student athletes at Pinewood, and it's always a good matchup. That's one of the reasons it's probably one of our best rivalries here for basketball.
Your students showed out tonight. It looks like it's Hawaiian night. How important is it just to kind of have that school spirit outside of the rigorous academics they have here at Porter Gaud?
They've got to find a way to have some downtime and play hard because they work so hard, especially all week, especially these scholar athletes. You know, the amount of time they put in behind the scenes is just tremendous. And you know, you've got choir ensembles, jazz bands are coming in, you know, gosh, 7:15 in the morning. Some of those, we've got the practice going on now for at least the next couple of weeks for the upper school musical. Those kids are here till 9 at night. I mean, it's amazing. I think I can't imagine doing it now.
I was going to say, DuBose, what is a day, you know, in the life like here for some of these basketball players?
Well, I mean, they're taking everything else, all the honors and AP and full college prep that everybody else is, and then on top of it, they've got all the practice hours, you know, long basketball season and a lot of weekend tournaments, and maybe travel twice a week sometimes. Yeah. So there's some late nights. You get home from Florence or something like that at 11 o'clock and got a couple of AP tests the next day.
How proud are you when you see a guy like Chris Middleton or Aaron Neesmith or Josiah James representing Porter Gaud the way they do as people at the next level?
Oh, those guys are just tremendously caring young men, and we're so glad to have been part of their life, and the fact that they love this school so much. It's just they give so much back to the community wherever they are, not just here at Porter Gaud, but where they've made their homes. And we just had a nice visit with those college players up in Nashville when they played each other back in January. It was just great to be with them, and had a lot of alumni turn out for that game.
DuBose is a busy time of year, and wanted to make sure we talk about some of the other sports. And how about the JV guys picking up a big win here tonight?
That was a nail biter down to the buzzer, wasn't it?
Shot up the buzzer to win it for the JV Porter Gaud boys.
That was exciting.
How special is this night for you, being Randy Clark night?
Well, I'm an alum of Porter Gaud. I graduated in '93, and so I knew Coach Clark, that's what we called him, as a history teacher, and later as the middle school head. I was never good enough to play basketball for the legend, but when I came back to work here, he continued to be a mentor and someone I just had a tremendous amount of respect for. And he supported me 20 years ago when I came back to work at Porter Gaud, and he never let me forget I'd been one of his little kids. And whenever I got a big head, he would remind me where I came from. He was a great colleague.
I got to ask you this question because it seems like everyone we come across at Porter Gaud has some sort of a Stephen Colbert story. Larry Sally, I think, sang in the chorus with him. Do you have a Stephen Colbert story?
We didn't. I'm a lot younger than Stephen. I think my first grade annual is when he's a senior.
Gotcha.
So, but you know, everybody goes and says, "Oh, well, I was in that club. I was in the AV club," and so was Stephen Colbert.
There you
so
go.
we both were up in the sound booth in the auditorium in our own time.
That's awesome.
Kind of neat.
DuBose, before we let you go, for those watching tonight, always have new viewers and new people new to Porter Gaud. Just tell us about the school, what you guys represent, and the success you guys have had with the academics.
Well, the school has a long history. We're over 150 years old, and the school has evolved in that time from
Mason Grant at it again.
There's our highlight. Hey, your
There
voice
you
is
go.
getting on the highlights tonight for sure on that one.
Yeah, we got to pause for that. Wow. But no, a great history of a school that evolved over time from a boys military academy to its merger with the Gaud School in the 60s and girls coming in the 70s, and it just has a tremendous legacy of tradition as an Episcopal school. And so, you know, that's something you see in every Episcopal school in the nation, that they take academics very seriously, that academics and learning are an essential part of life, along with the moral compass that comes with being a spiritual-based school. So.
And it turns out some really good basketball players as well.
And football, they had Ovi Mahaley, a former Pro Bowler as well. You've run the gamut of several sports, which is great.
We're really proud of these guys. They've done a tremendous work.
DuBose, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you coming on with us.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
DuBose Eggleston, again, the head of school here at Porter Gaud. And again, what a game here tonight. A 6-point lead.
I'm sure our replay operator, Nick Case, has got his hand on the replay machine ready to show us that Mason Grant putback slam again.
Kirstein knocks in the three. And Porter Gaud now with the 9-point lead. Pinewood Prep wants a timeout. Cyclones taking control. Putback dunk by Mason Grant. High School Hoops Game of the Week on MyTV Charleston is brought to you by Guy Roofing, your trusted roofing contractor for 50 years. The Low Country's most trusted roofing company for all of your residential and commercial roofing needs. It's Guy Roofing. Alongside Scott Eisberg, I'm Jeff McCarriger. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Porter all of a sudden, Scott, with a 9-point lead.
Yeah, they kind of exploded there. It all started with that big dunk from Grant, and they kind of took it from there. Porter Gaud has to know, though, Pinewood Prep never out of a game like this.
Yeah, we've talked about it several times, the big comeback by Pinewood Prep. Last time these two schools met earlier this season. Even tonight, a couple of times, Porter Gaud's had a 10-point lead and only seen the Panthers come back on him. Here's Gaskins.
Like JP said, he's never a fan when he's playing Cohen Gaskins because he can shoot Pinewood Prep right back into the game quickly.
Yeah, he said he loves Gaskins, just not when they're playing him. Three is missed. Gaskins with the bucket on one end and the defensive rebound on the other. And now in trouble. And heads-up play throws it off of one of the Porter Gaud players and then off the glasses of a woman sitting in the front row.
All okay?
You good?
She's good.
Good.
If you can
right
see
there
where
in the line of
we're
the line of fire, and you can see Gaskins even
you can
apologize. You can sit up here with us if you want. It's a little bit safer up here.
As you say that, we're going to take one right to our table,
right,
and
yeah. Gaskins trapped in the corner. Able to skip it baseline. Briscoe has it slapped away. Turnover gives it back to the Cyclones. Fake by Kirstein, now goes underneath. Oh, nice no-look pass. Unselfish play into the corner for three, too short. Lead pass to Gaskins, going to slow it down. Shot off the glass, no good. And Logan Stern called for the offensive foul.
Pat Edson has said with Stern, he's a spark plug guy. He scored 17 in this game, but he has to play within himself. There's a difference between being a spark plug and being out of control, and you got to kind of hone yourself in and be in control while you're sparking your team.
Porter Gaud 18-5 on the season. Taking on a Pinewood Prep squad. They've played a lot of games. They're 14-11. Long three, in and out.
Porter Gaud's top assistant coach, who's kind of yelling out the directions there, is Travis Smith. He was a great teammate of Chris Middleton, good friend of Middleton, and he had a great career at Mercer. He played, I remember he scored 20-something points and led Mercer to a win over Alabama back in maybe 09 or 2010. Travis has taken over. He coaches the JV team, and now he's an assistant coach on the varsity under JP, and there he is right there doing a really nice job. JP raves about how invested he is in the place that he got his education from.
Lafayette slowing things down here for Porter Gaud with a 7-point lead. Under 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Chase Cannon also back into the game here for Porter Gaud, giving them some size underneath at 6'8". Three-pointer spins out. Gaskins another rebound.
Not saying Porter Gaud's gone cold here, but they have missed a couple shots and opened the door for Pinewood Prep.
Nice pass underneath and a foul. Logan Stern, a big collision underneath, and this foul is going to go against Cannon.
I always kind of laugh when when I think back to those 09 years, with Chris Middleton and Travis and everything. Middleton was kind of the overlooked player in our area because Pinewood Prep had a guy named Milton Jennings, who was he was a Gatorade, State Player of the Year, and he was also a McDonald's All-American. So he got all the hype, and Middleton kind of flew under the radar a little bit. And that he ended up at Texas A&M. Milton Jennings went to Clemson, and obviously Milton's career never really panned out at the professional level, where Middleton is making $70 million contract with the Bucks now. So, I always laugh those years, though. They had some great players because you had Travis and Chris, and then on Pinewood Prep you had as Kirkstein hits the three. You had Milton Jennings and a guy named Kenny Manigault, who's cousins with Chris, and Kenny is still playing overseas and making a lot of money playing over in Europe. So those years were a lot of fun to watch these teams play.
Shabazz trapped in the corner, has to call a timeout. So timeout Panthers with 1:05 left to play. Pinewood Prep on the road, down by 8. You see a great shot of the gymnasium here at Porter Gaud School. Our Raise the Roof fan cam brought to you by Guy Roofing. Well, maybe just the fan cam, not so much raising the roof there.
They got to get over and get the student section on our side, because the student section's pretty rowdy over our left shoulders here. You can kind of see them at the bottom left of your screen. One of these fan cams will get them. They've been really good tonight. Porter Gaud students are always good. They are always fun, and football games, they always have a good time, and they're so good at so many different sports. Great in lacrosse, great in soccer. Porter Gaud across the board has a great athletics program. Larry Sally does a really nice job as their athletics director.
And we should see another good student section next week, as we'll head up to Wando for our game of the week next week. Wrap things up.
Do you have a Wando Warrior? You have a Wando Warrior, don't you?
I have 2 Warriors in the house.
You have 2 Warriors in the house.
Yes.
My kids and my tax money go to Wando.
Porter Gaud with a chance to take a double-digit lead. Up by 8 here in the waning moments of the third quarter.
While we're talking about Wando for a quick second, huge news today. Jimmy Noonan steps down as their head football coach after 11 years. Big move right there in the high school football landscape.
Grant too short, out of bounds. And actually no whistle. Foul's going to be called against Pinewood Prep. It's going to go against Gaskins. And that's his second. Might have been a little bit of a push there on the baseline. Another opportunity for Lafayette. Too strong. And offensive rebound for the Cyclones. Near steal by Shabazz. First he thought about it. And now just 12 seconds left here in the third quarter. Porter Gaud just looking for one final good shot here. Kirkstein drives. What a fake, and a drive down the lane.
Just opened up for him there.
The layup makes it a 10-point lead for Porter Gaud here at the end of 3 quarters. Back with the final quarter here for Porter Gaud right after this.
Oh, that's all.
It's our high school hoops game of the week here on MyTV Charleston, brought to you by Guy Roofing. For all of your residential and commercial roofing needs, if you need a roof, we've got you covered. It's Guy Roofing. 10-point lead for Porter Gaud as we begin the fourth quarter. And again, we mentioned this a couple times, Scott, but worth noting again here as we get to the fourth quarter. Last time these two teams met, about a month ago?
Yep.
Porter Gaud was up big, and Pinewood Prep put up 30 in the fourth quarter.
And just think, that's an 8-minute quarter. We're not talking 12-minute quarters here. We're talking 8 minutes to score 30 points. You're going off when you do that.
Big possession here. You just kind of feel for the Panthers. Gaskins, every time he touches the ball, double-teamed at least. Nice dish off underneath in the finish. Able to sneak the pass to Lance Salisbury, his first bucket of the night. If they could get more of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, obviously he needs to put on some size, but he has got the height for sure.
Yeah, Salisbury 6'10".
And you know, Porter Gaud is a short team. I mean, they are a guard-laden team. So to have somebody like that, obviously it's harder to guard a bunch of guards on Porter Gaud, but you do have a size advantage offensively if you're Pinewood.
Has it knocked away. Kirstein can't get it to go. Rebound by Grant and the putback. What a game by Mason Grant.
Mason Grant right now the front runner to be our player of the night. He's had a really solid game on both ends of the court.
Shabazz, three-pointer. That's big for Pinewood Prep.
Pat Edson yelling at his team, get back on defense. Now don't let them beat you in transition.
Big shot makes it a 7-point game. No look underneath and just off the fingertips. I thought of Frederic. But they're going to say last touched by Pinewood Prep, so Porter Gaud's going to get it on the baseline. Pat Kelly back in here for Porter Gaud.
So the big question next week, are your kids going to acknowledge that you're in the gym, or are they going incognito and don't want to be associated with Dad?
Well, one has a Valentine's party, so she won't be there.
Okay.
And the other one, unfortunately, is laid up. He just had surgery, unfortunately. So he's probably not going to be there either. So I'm 0 for 2. just you and me.
I'm still cool enough. I can show up at an elementary school thing.
Yeah.
Once I get to high school, I'm a little worried about it.
Yeah. But the younger one who has a Valentine's party, at least she called me and told me about it. And she said, Dad, I'm really sorry, but it's just not going to work out. We got better plans.
What's better than the Chop House?
Well, she could have told me in person.
Yeah. She called you, though. That's not a text. That's a step up. That's good.
And that one drops in.
Still only an 8-point ball game. You know, it's Porter Gaud's never been able to really kind of run away with it.
That one too short. Long rebound out to Porter Gaud. Nice pass underneath. Unselfish play. And a jam again by Mason Grant.
Man, he is fun to watch. And those hops, that's not easy off of 2 feet right under the basket to throw it down like that.
A little jumper from short range. Good by Lenore. Pinewood Prep hanging in there. Porter Gaud with a lot of big-time highlights, but the Panthers down by just 8. Long three, spins out.
Now these are kind of possessions that you can milk a little bit if you're Porter Gaud. You don't need to be taking a 3 from 25 feet out at this point in the game when you're winning by 8.
Nice move by Shabazz, and he gets fouled.
And you don't want to give Pinewood Prep points when the clock is not ticking. Oh, great play.
Mason Grant, just a junior, averaging 21 points per game.
Yeah, I think you're going to see plenty of college coaches in this gym watching. He's got nice size too, 6'5", nice 2-guard size.
You know, we watch some of these big-time players here in the area. They're fast players, but the game just seems to slow down for them.
It really.
I mean, he's just one of those guys.
He absolutely does. And the other thing about it, too, is coaches, when they come to Porter Gaud, never have to worry if the kids are going to qualify academically. It's not even a question. They can just come in here and know academically they're going to be a strength for their team. So, the academics are so rigorous here that all you have to do is concentrate on them as a basketball player, because the other parts are going to take care of themselves.
Three-pointer too strong. Rebound down to Pinewood Prep. 5 minutes left to play, a 6-point game. Nice pass underneath, layup no good. Late whistle and a foul against the Cyclones.
Kai Kurtzstein cannot believe he got called for a foul there.
Here it is again.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, you can see Kurtzstein's just shocked that one was called a foul. And here we are. It's a two-possession game. 5 minutes to play.
And another foul against Porter Gaud. And this one will go against Jack Kirstein.
You watch Pat Idson coach. Rarely shows a whole lot of emotion, but he's showing it right now. He's such a reserved guy. But he's showing some emotion with his team kind of coming back into this game.
Big free throw for Bryce Lenore, the junior. One of the top defenders on the team, averaging 9 points per game, makes both free throws, and it's a 4-point game. Still a lot of time, under 5 minutes left to play. Kirstein resets the offense here for Porter Gaud. Grant in the middle, turnaround jumper. Everything off his hands is going in. Such soft touch.
It's just so obvious, too, that he's so comfortable in all facets of the game.
Long three-pointer, missed. And Grant with the rebound.
And he's out-rebounding a guy that's 6 inches taller than him.
Turnover.
Cohen Gaskins has kind of quieted down a little bit as far as shooting the ball, but he is playing good defense. He's just such a hard worker. He's constantly going. Might have forced that shot a little bit. Look for the foul on the three.
Long lead pass, nice catch, and the layup is good by Kirstein. Really? What a play. I mean, just to make the catch and save it is one. Then spins it off the glass. Watch this play. Porter Gaud with the lead. And welcome back here to the Port of God School. It's our Raise the Roof fan cam brought to you by Guy Roofing. Good crowd on hand here tonight for the Skeeza rivalry matchup between Pinewood Prep and the Cyclones of Port of God. 55-47. Cyclones with the lead. Well, Mason Grant is having a night here for the Cyclones. He is dominating both sides. Offensively, obviously, and then seems like he's getting every defensive rebound. Just eliminating second effort opportunities by the Panthers.
And he is lining up there against the guy who's 6'10" and out jumping him. And he's surely an athlete. There's no question about that. But there's a difference between an athlete and an athlete who really asserts all of his athleticism, and he does that. There's the students wearing their Hawaiian shirts, and I'm told that the reason for the Hawaiian shirts tonight is that was Randy Clark's signature. He wore the Hawaiian shirt, so that's why they do it to honor him tonight.
Love that.
They look like they could go out and play some cornhole after this, and I'm talking to the cornhole expert here, Jeff McCarriger. You can catch him this weekend on ESPN calling cornhole.
So they'll do the play-by-play if they want to break out in some cornhole. Kirstein all the way to the other end, draws the foul. 55-47 Cyclones. This team is 18-5. And the reason why is just the flat-out hustle. It was so much fun to talk to John Pearson, the head coach, before the game. And he told you the same thing during the week. One of the first things he told me, he's like, listen, I don't know how we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're so undersized, really playing a 4 or 5 guard lineup. But they're just so scrappy and they hustle so much. And obviously a smart group of guys and just a will to win. And, I didn't talk to John about this, but I would assume that, this team probably carries the burden of the teams that have come before them.
Yeah, there's no question about it. They do. But not all of those teams won state titles, because if you look back at Skeeza, there's been so many great players. Most would think Zion Williamson. They played against Zion, but he was in Skeeza 1A, so he was not in the same championship division as Porter-Gaud, but they played guys like 7th Woods and Hammond, and those Hammond teams beat Porter-Gaud. So, there's a burden, but this is a Porter-Gaud team that also plays with a bit of a chip because they haven't won it. It's not like they've dominated and won it every year. Skeeza basketball is so good. My favorite part of the conversation I had with JP was this week.
I can't even imagine which one it was.
Yeah, we went deep.
The whole conversation's always good.
Yeah, we went deep into basketball here, and he said, I knew he went to the College of Charleston, played for John Kress. And there's Grant again. He's kind of taking over this game. And I said to JP,
another steal. Kirstein all alone, and Porter-Gaud opening up a double-digit lead.
Kai, you got to throw that one down. You got to dunk that one, Kai. So I said to JP, I said, obviously you played for CFC. You played for the legend John Kress. And he said, I actually started my career for 1 year at Tennessee State. In the early 80s, and I said, you know what? My favorite player of all time used to play for Tennessee State, Anthony Mason. He goes, we were freshmen together, same recruiting class.
Right?
JP and Anthony Mason were in the same recruiting class and played a year together at Tennessee State. So that's awesome. I said, you got to tell me more about Mace, man. I got to hear about him. And I said, did he have the barber back then that drew all the things in his head like he had with the Knicks? And he said he was a little more reserved when he was in college, but he said his skill level was through the roof. He said his skill was so good at Tennessee State. So I was pumped to hear that John Pearson and Anthony Mason were college teammates for a year.
Now, back when he played, late 80s, 85 to 88 with Coach Kress?
Yeah.
So that was back in the day, right?
Yeah, probably still the NAIA years. They might have been still in the NAIA year. I don't think they were in the TAC yet.
Yeah,
it was close.
Yeah, the TAC wasn't until 89?
Yeah,
maybe?
I think he's like class of 87 or 88. So he probably just missed that.
So he wouldn't have played with the Shaq of the TAC.
No, Thad Delaney. He did not play with Thad Delaney. But, John Pearson, he went to Lugoff Elgin High School up near Columbia. Same high school as Monty Lee, head coach of the Clemson Tigers baseball team. and went to Tennessee State to the College of Charleston. Said he went to work for about 6 months and said he wants to be around basketball and around schools. And he came to Porter Gaud in '89, and he's been here ever since. So 31 years at Porter Gaud, and he took over as the head coach in Chris Middleton's sophomore year here. So I think it's about 14 years he's been the head coach now.
Well, there you saw a good shot at John Pearson trying to plead his case. 11-point lead for his team with 2:11 left to play. Well, you mentioned it in the open, but two, I mean, just iconic, and two of the all-time great coaches here in the area. Well, they might be ruling a technical here on Grant. Nick Case back in the truck, filling us in on the conversations with the officials here.
An astute eye, Nick Case always has one. Yeah, there are so many amazing ties to Porter Gaud and just incredible stories that come out of the place. I love hearing the stories. If you look straight across from us at the scorer's table right now is Kurt James. His son is KJ James and then Josiah James that both played here. Kurt James was teammates with Magic Johnson at Michigan State.
Foul on Pinewood Prep, so free throws coming up here for Porter Gaud.
There's Kurt James.
There it is. Right there in the center of your screen.
Yep.
Kelly makes it a 12-point lead here for Porter Gaud with just over 2 minutes left to play. And the second Cruz Chevrolet free throw is good. And this one quickly getting difficult here for Pinewood Prep unless they get something going. Gaskins, nowhere to go. Every time Gaskins has touched it, he's had at least 2 white jerseys on. And traveling, that's been the biggest adjustment. And Porter Gaud's done a really good job. Every time they've tried to get the ball to number 14 in blue, just surrounded by 2 or 3. And Pinewood Prep just has not been able to find that second or third option here tonight.
Sure.
Grant wide open with the easy layup.
This one's out of hand now. They've pulled away. He didn't need to throw down the Showtime dunk right there, although he could have. I don't think anyone would have complained if he did.
Well, Pinewood Prep not quite ready to say goodnight yet as they commit the foul. And free throws coming up on the other end here for the Cyclones. It'll be interesting to follow this team again. Obviously, Grant is a star here for Porter Gaud, but a very undersized team, very scrappy team. Not one of the most talented that we've ever seen here at Porter Gaud.
You just got to get hot in those playoffs because it's not like the public school playoffs where you play it once a week and then you play Monday and Saturday or whatever it is. They go to Sumter. They play at the Civic Center in Sumter and just clump all the games into like 4 days. And so you get hot, you get on a run. You can kind of run through the skis of playoffs quickly. It's an interesting setup they have there. They play at this old Civic Center. And you should have seen it 2 years ago when Zion Williamson was playing. Holy cow,
sure.
You couldn't get in the place.
Well, this will to win that Porter Gaud has is definitely impressive. And talked about John Pearson here a lot in the second half, but he told us, the kids are doing it all themselves. Big three-pointer for Pinewood Prep on the other end. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, they're going to have a shot too. They just need to find that second scoring option. Gaskins is obviously a big-time player and had a lot of three-pointers and big plays in that first half, but Shabazz, who normally is that big scorer, there you saw with the 3, he can get his. He's averaging about 17 points per game, but they're really going to have to try and find somebody else.
They really do. And it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to get a ton of guys to Pinewood because it's far out there. Porter Gaud, guys can kind of come from all around the area and go to Porter Gaud. If you live in James Island, for instance, that's an hour and 10-minute drive out to Pinewood. You're not getting as many guys. Although Somerville is growing.
Sure.
Porter Gaud is so centrally located. They're able to get a lot of kids from around different parts of Metro Charleston. It's kind of what First Baptist is becoming as well over on James Island. It's very centrally located, and you can get guys to come.
Coming up on 1 minute left to play. Here's your updated score. 14-point lead for Porter Gaud, 66-52. Again for the Cyclones, 18-5 overall. They've won 6 straight, 9 of their last 10. So for the Cyclones, they will have now won 7 straight, 10 of their last 11. Talk about getting hot here at the right time.
It's when you want to do it. I mean, it's crazy to think that we're almost in March here. I mean, next Friday night is our final game that we're doing, and then we're in the playoffs.
Yep.
So it's, the season has flown by tremendously fast. And I think part of it in these parts are, I always say when Clemson makes a run deep into the playoffs in college football, you're in the football mindset so far into January that your head almost doesn't switch to basketball right away. And it's happened the last couple of years where you just kind of turn around and you go, oh my God, like we're at the end of basketball season already.
Under a minute left to play. The other note on Porter Gaud, too, is how good they are at home. They're perfect at home this season. Gaskin banks it in. Cyclones are perfect 8-0 here in their own gym. About to go to 9-0 this season. And again, next week we'll head over to Mount Pleasant, Wando, James Island and Wando, I think is what we have next week.
I believe it is. Yeah, I believe that's the game we have over there on North Mount Pleasant. Shop House should be fun. They always have a great student section, a big gym, gets loud in there, and Chris Warzynski's kind of had an up and down year with his tribe of East Cooper, but that's always a great rivalry between James Island and Wando. And the nice thing about it is we picked all region games that, when you only have 5-6 teams in a region, most of them are rivalries that we picked to have this year. But Pinewood Porter here is kind of the traditional one. Porter Gaud and Bishop England used to be big rivals, but Bishop England plays with the public schools now. So I would say Pinewood and Porter are the biggest rivals in the private school ranks.
Well, and speaking of rivalry games, doesn't get any better than what we had a couple weeks ago with the Burke and North Charleston game.
And they played another wild one this week. North Charleston won it again.
Another foul. 20 seconds left to play. 15-point lead here for the Cyclones.
It's been so much fun this year just because we've had so many great games. I mean, that's been the thing about this is every week we seem to have a game that goes down. We have not had a blowout. Every game has gone down to the fourth quarter, which makes it great.
And this game was so good for the first 3 quarters.
Yep.
You see smiles on the faces of the Cyclones. They jumped out to a 10-point lead right away. It seemed like they were going to take control, but then Pinewood Prep went on a big run. Pinewood Prep actually took a brief lead in the 3rd quarter of this game.
And John Pearson made a great point this week when he said, we're really good. And do you realize how good we would have been? Because the starting point guard for this team is supposed to be Denham Wojcik, Doug Wojcik's son, who's got several Division I offers already. He went out to La Lumiere in Indiana, but he would be a Division I point guard on this team. He said we would be crazy good if we had that.
Thrown out of bounds by Porter Gaud, so Pinewood Prep will have it with just 5 seconds left to play. Well, we will be honoring our player of the game coming up as soon as this game is done, and I don't think there's much in doubt about who the player of the game was in this one. Three-pointer by Shabazz at the buzzer, and that will do it. Porter Gaud improves to 19-5 on the season, 9-0 here at home, as they win it by a final of 71-58. All right, time to nominate our Roper St. Francis player of the game, and without question, number 12, Mason Grant. What a night. Averaging 21 points per game. Did it inside, did it outside. You mentioned him earlier on the boards. He was all over the place.
Yeah, he really was good. And a couple of electrifying dunks, one right there. Looks like we're going to be joined by plenty of students here after the game.
So Mason Grant, our Roper St. Francis player of the game, as the Cyclones win it tonight by a final of 71-58. We're back. Scotty's got the trophy presentation right after this. Back on the campus of the Porter Gaud School, where the Cyclones win it tonight by a final of 71-58. Let's go down to the court where Scotty Eisberg is standing by with the winners.
All right, Jeff, here we go with the Porter Gaud Cyclones. First, let's give out our Roper St. Francis Hospital Player of the Game and T-shirt. No question about it. Where's Mason? Mason Grant. 32 points tonight, a couple of electrifying dunks. JP, to not only get the win over your rival, but to see a performance like that, how enjoyable was that for you?
Oh, we're getting used to this from Mason. He's an unbelievable basketball player. He came out there, put us on his shoulders, took off, and then we got some little guards that buzz around him, man. They're pretty good.
Yeah, you said all week the Kirchsteins were fun to watch. They really showed their grittiness tonight. How fun is it as a coach to kind of watch a team click at this time of year?
Oh, geez, very fun. Honestly, I wasn't expecting them to be this good at this point of the year, as good as they are. But with those little dudes, man, Tobias, the Kirchsteins, Matt Kelly, all those guys, they're contributing, they're winning games.
JP, congratulations, and congratulations to the Porter Gaud Cyclones. There is our Guy Roofing trophy. They are your winners tonight, 71-58 over Pinewood Prep.
All right, Scott, thank you. The Cyclones now 19-5 on the season. They are perfect at home, and there you see number 12, Mason Grant, as Scott just said, 32 points for our Roper St. Francis Player of the Game. Well, later tonight, tune into ABC News 4 at 11, Guy Roofing High School Hoops recap. Complete rundown of the scores. Again, next week, James Island at Wando, 8:30 next Friday night. Thanks to all of our sponsors for making this one happen tonight. Thanks for our entire crew. Again, Porter Gaud wins it 71-58. For Scott Eisberg, I'm Jeff McCarrick saying good night here from Porter Gaud.